this is it. What pressure on Parr. He must score. He puts it wide. Cardiff City are going to Wembley.
Back for the fourth time in 4 years, but who are they going to be playing? Tonight, Manchester City Slickers arrive here at Anfield. Top of the Premier League, desperate to justify their huge investment by winning more silverware. But traditionally, this place hasn't been the happiest of hunting grounds against a team that over the years has excelled in the League Cup. Kenny Dalglish returned as Liverpool manager just over a year ago to this famous club. Their last piece of silverware was the FA Cup in 2006. If they fail to win anything this season, it'll be the club's worst trophy drought for nearly 40 years. King Kenny is determined to bring back the glory days he enjoyed as a player and a manager, the most successful period in the club's history, which included winning every major honour and 4 consecutive League Cups. 3 more were added since that golden era, meaning Liverpool have won this trophy a record 7 times in their history. Can Dalglish steer a return to Wembley for the first time in 16 years? Standing in their way are the high-flying and richly talented Manchester City, themselves trying to reach the final of this competition for the first time in 36 years. But they face an uphill battle after their surprise 1-0 defeat at the Etihad Stadium 2 weeks ago.
The referee's given a penalty against Savic. Gerrard gives Liverpool an all-important first-leg lead here.
What a night we have in store for you. It is the Carling Cup semi-final second leg. Liverpool versus Manchester City, live from Anfield, available in HD and 3D as well. We will have extra time and penalties just like they did last night in the Cardiff City Stadium if, of course, it is 1-1 at full time. It's set to be quite a semi-final second leg. Let's join our 3D commentators, Gary Birtles and Daniel Mann. And for the rest of us, it's Alan Smith and Rob Hawthorne.
Well, if it goes all the way to penalties, Pepe Reina has an excellent record in shootouts. And another good omen for Liverpool is that their goalkeeper has yet to finish on the losing side in a League Cup match. And this is his 7th appearance in the competition. Despite Saturday's poor showing in the defeated Bolton, the back 4 is selected again, so Jose Enrique, who didn't start the first leg, does tonight. Jay Spearing injured his hamstring in that game and still isn't fit to return. So in the midfield, Charlie Adam plays again, and Stuart Downing, left out at the Reebok, returns tonight. But there's no Andy Carroll in the first 11, with Craig Bellamy up against his former club alongside Dirk Kuyt. Goalkeeper Joe Hart is one of 6 City players who started the first leg, doing so again tonight. Dalglish, one of City's most potent attacking forces, then loses out with Alexander Kolarov back in. Stefan Savic maintains his ever-present record in the competition. But Pablo Zabaleta is still given a role, possibly in midfield, possibly as a wing-back. Gareth Barry returns to the club he nearly joined 2.5 years ago. And David Silva could be the key after missing the first leg with an ankle injury, and with Mario Balotelli's suspension beginning, Edin Dzeko is an automatic choice. Carroll is among the Liverpool substitutes, and Adam Johnson, Sergio Aguero, James Milner and Clichy, all starters in the first leg, have to wait their turn this evening. Well, for all the so-called damage that Liverpool's image has suffered lately, Anfield on a special night is still a special place to be. And with Liverpool's first Wembley appearance since 1996 within reach. This does promise to be a special night. They have the advantage, but there are huge dangers against the Premier League leaders. It's Liverpool against Manchester City in the second leg of the Carling Cup semi-final, coming live.
We are live at Anfield for the Carling Cup semi-final second leg between Liverpool and Manchester City. Liverpool lead 1-0 from the first leg. Let's join our commentators, Alan Smith and first, Rob Hawthorne.
One Scottish manager in the final already, and on Burns night will Malky Mackay be joined by another in Kenny Dalglish. Steven Gerrard's cousin is already there, Anthony Gerrard with Cardiff. Gerrard got the winning goal from the penalty spot in the first leg that has encouraged such Liverpool hope. And Gerrard was on the score sheet the last time Liverpool won a major cup final. That was in Cardiff against West Ham in the FA Cup final. But the prize for this one is a meeting in a final with Cardiff at Wembley. And Manchester City, who were there only in May for their FA Cup victory over Stoke, have eyes on the main prize themselves. And they've launched it long here towards Edin Dzeko, and it's Enrique away to Zabaleta. This is Silva. Dzeko looking for Barry, and it's away by Daniel Agger, who won the penalty that Gerrard converted within the first quarter of an hour of the first leg.
Yeah, first thing to say, Rob, is that Manchester City are going with three at the back. Savage in the middle of Richards on the right, and Joleon Lescott now on the ball on the left, maybe just to give a little bit more protection to Savage. New boy coming into this team. He's made one or two mistakes. A couple of more experienced lads either side to talk and help.
Here's Zabaleta. Silva. Back to him from Barry. Henderson breaks it up. Here's Craig Bellamy. Charlie Adam back to Gerrard. And this is Enrique. City looking to soak up what Liverpool throw at them early on. They were breached inside quarter of an hour at Eastlands. There's Nasri, who's suddenly started to find his form for City. Now Joleon Lescott. Gareth Barry.
Well, it's not quite an orthodox 4-4-2 either for Liverpool, with Bellamy up front on his own at the moment. Dirk Kuyt just dropping across to the right-hand side. Which you'd expect really to compete with City's midfield, where they always tend to flood that area with bodies.
There's Nasri. Dzeko just up the wrong side, allowing Agger to pounce, but referee Phil Dowd has given the free kick. Barry. There's Silva. This is De Jong. Now Zabaleta. Silva, who was missed in the first meeting. He may be the locksmith as far as Manchester City are concerned. This is Savage. De Jong. Dzeko. Spoken here to Samir Nasri. This is Kolarov looking to take on Glenn Johnson. Hoodwinked him into thinking he was going to let it run, then tried to launch it long for Bellamy. It's Barry, important touch, and I think he may have been caught by his great mate Steven Gerrard. Allowing the advantage, such as it is.
They don't need to kick it out now, they can get on with it.
There's Zabaleta. Barry. Kolarov. Trying to find the gap between Kuyt and Johnson. There's one
everything Liverpool can be. They weren't at Bolton, but they can be extremely resilient at the back and organised, as they've shown this season. They certainly were in the second half of Manchester City when the home team came at them.
Here's Downing. Came back awkwardly. Enrique's there! And Hart makes the save. Downing with the follow-up. Lashes it wide. Joe Hart to City's rescue again.
Oh, what a save. And I think Alexander Kolarov will be a relieved man, because it was off the defender's body that it came to Enrique originally. A real mess of the clearance. What form he's been in, Joe Hart. Just had the ability this season to poke out an arm or a leg. And manages to cover that goal really well.
Well, it has been typical of Joe Hart in recent games between these two to make early saves. He made one from Stuart Downing in the league match, which City went on to win. He made one from Andy Carroll in the first leg of this time. Might have to make another one here. Henderson's put Bellamy through. Craig Bellamy. The angle was made narrow for him.
And that's what you get with Craig Bellamy at the point of view attack, somebody that can run away. If you do give the ball away, as Stefan Savic did there, he certainly stays on side, Craig Bellamy. And he is a live wire. It's the touch here, a little heavy as he's trying to cut it back.
Skirtle and Agger forward for the corner. Adam. Back out to the Liverpool captain. Here's Adam again. Henderson seeking out Craig Bellamy, but that's beyond him. And incidentally, there has been a booking already. Steven Gerrard was cautioned for that challenge on Gareth Barry.
Good refereeing initially. Phil Dowd let the play go on. We wondered about Liverpool's attitude being a goal up. Would they go for it, try and get the second? They've certainly come out the traps quickly here, been nice and sharp, very positive.
Last time Liverpool had a semi-final, Steven Gerrard scored the winner in the first leg against Watford, and it was the same score and same scorer in the second leg too. Couldn't keep it in.
He's looking a little nervous again, the 21-year-old. He gave the ball away there. Bellamy skipped free. Just settled down with a couple of sure touches.
Count. Here's Glenn Johnson. Going for it himself, but always in control of that. Barry. And Savic, the 21-year-old Montenegrin, who followed up his nervous display in the first leg with a similarly nervous display against Spurs at the weekend. There's Nasri. Richards under pressure from Craig Bellamy.
That's the only thing as well with Richards being one of the centre-halves. He doesn't get the chance to go up that right flank, does he? Well, he can be so powerfully dangerous.
Dzeko has spun away from Skirtle. Agger was covering anyway as Reina came to meet that. Savic certainly seen plenty of the ball early on. This is De Jong. Barry. Now Silva. Kolarov. Sameh Nasri.
Well, they're going to want getting their playmakers on the ball, Nasri and David Silva, which they did there in that forward move.
Well, Manchester City have won this competition twice. Tony Book captained them to their victory in 1970 against West Brom and managed them to their win over Newcastle 6 years later. Roberto Mancini already has the FA Cup on his CV as City boss. And the way things are going, could over the course of 2 seasons complete the domestic treble. Still a long way to go in both, and a deficit to overhaul in this competition. Here's Bellamy. It's very unusual to hear Kenny Dalglish criticise his players as he did at the weekend, but presumably he did that with this game and the next one in mind, looking for a reaction. Yeah, I think so. I mean, there are always times in a season for any team when things need to be said, harsh words spoken. And that was certainly that occasion at the Reebok for Liverpool when they were really poor. Defensively, he's not been used to that particularly, why they conceded those 3 goals. Also talk about the new lads coming in as well, wasn't there? The likes of Downing, who started on the bench, and Henderson, Andy Carroll. They need to do a little bit more. Deflected away from Gerrard, but into the path of Craig Bellamy, and Gerrard's in the middle with Downing. Gerrard will now go out to take the corner. Gerrard's kick, disappointing one, cleared by Barry. Henderson, Skirtle. Here's Adam. Going for goal! Well held by Hart.
Yeah, he had to, didn't he, with Dirk bearing down on him. It was a good strike on his right side.
Who's been the busier of the 2 goalkeepers so far. Joe Hart answering every question asked of him so far. Liverpool record 7 times winners of this competition, from a record 10 appearances in the final. Dion, Nasri. Barry looking for Alexander Kolarov. Silva wanted it played in early. Away from Gerrard, but just too much on the ball. Roberto Mancini, who had that disagreement with Steven Gerrard after the first leg, over what Gerrard thought was an attempt to get a red card for Glenn Johnson for his challenge on Jolyon Lescott.
He did have a point, really, the Liverpool captain, in fairness.
Here is Lescott. Lescott's header falls for Henderson. Away by Stefan Savic.
Well, they did this at the Etihad. Liverpool closed down, pressed high up the pitch, made it really difficult for City to settle, find any rhythm. Corners now that they've won. Just keep an eye on the way City defend. I think there's a lot of zonal marking there. I was looking at the 2 Liverpool centre-halves, Agger and Skirtle. No one man identified to mark those pair. No 2 men.
Gerrard's last corner went to waste, so Craig Bellamy's taken over corner-taking duties here. Gerrard is just waiting at the edge, just moved into the area. Same result, though, met by the first man, Gareth Barry.
It's the second game, isn't it? In the space of a week. Hasn't done that too many times this season. Craig Bellamy, 90 minutes at Bolton, scored a goal.
Player who played over 50 matches for Manchester City, but Roberto Mancini, of course, loaned him to Cardiff. So if Liverpool do prevail here, he could be meeting another former club in the final. And if they get that far, Liverpool will have that man available again. Luis Suarez. Bellamy lost sight of it. Lescott didn't.
Sounded savage for a second there. City will just want to try and get a hold of this ball for a decent length of time. So Liverpool that have started this much better.
Away by Charlie Adam. It's the third match of the January trilogy, and Liverpool have started all three of them really well. They're very unlucky in many respects to end up on the wrong end of a 3-0 scoreline in the league match at Eastlands.
I thought they did well here, actually, in the league match. 1-1 just before Christmas, played ever so well Liverpool that day.
Here's Nasri, who's got Silva up to his left, Dzeko to his right. Adam. Now Downey. This is Bellamy. Looking to take on Richards, trying to pull it back for Charlie Adam. Didn't execute it as he wanted, though. Silva. Kolorov's made a good run forward if he can find him, and he has. Just forced him a little wide, and Agger deals with the cross.
And Kev got away with that because he's a little slow to react to Kolorov's forward run. He normally does the defensive jobs really well, Kev, but he's lagging now a bit. As the ball's played diagonally, Kolarov really needs to go and meet that and get a first touch on it quicker.
Silva with the corner. Goes low. Dzeko went down as it was cleared by Charlie Adam. There's Nasri. Silva. There's De Jong. De Jong. Here's Richards. There's Barry.
Certainly playing with a lot of width, Manchester City's Zabaleta on this side, Kolarov on the other. Well, he did go to ground, Edin Dzeko. There weren't too many appeals for penalty. But Charlie Adam does kick Dzeko's foot rather than the ball.
Maybe a touch surprising there weren't greater appeals.
I think so.
Here's Enrique. He comes back off Micah Richards. Bellamy.
I looked around at the time, and not just Dzeko, but not many Manchester City players in that penalty area were claiming. Phil Dowd obviously thought that Charlie Adam got the ball, but he didn't. A little fortunate there, Liverpool.
Here's Johnson. Count. Skirtle.
Surprising, those possession stats, I've got to say. Sometimes Liverpool have been happy for City to have the ball in the middle of the park as they've withdrawn and stayed nice and compact.
It's all the more surprising because the two real saves that have had to be made have been made by Joe Hart to keep out Enrique and Charlie Adam.
Joe Hart's certainly been the busier of the two keepers. It's decent stats after 20 minutes. And the kind of start I think Kenny Dalglish would have demanded.
Well, even though they've shed a few Premier League points here this season, they are still unbeaten at Anfield. And they've never lost the home leg of a semi-final at this ground. Here's Nigel de Jong. Barry. Johnson aware of where Kolarov is. Here's Count.
Did well on those second balls, Liverpool, to latch onto them pretty quickly.
Bellamy. He's got away from Savage. Again, Joe Hart forced to work. Enrique.
In the end, the shot was a little bit awkward, but Savage, without doubt, is a weakness for City at the heart of that defence.
Well, Vincent Kompany, who scored in the 1-1 draw here and was man of the match in the home league win for City, is a big miss, no doubt about it, and that compounded by Kolo Touré's absence as well. But Savage here is the only man who started every match in this Carling Cup run for Manchester City. Here's Lescott. Now Micah Richards. Zabaleta. Silva. Dzeko. Nasri. It's Kolarov's cross, met by Steven Gerrard.
Really swarming around those City players when they get the ball. Liverpool working really hard.
Here's Savage. De Jong. Barry.
They just want to be trying to play their football. Another 30 yards on City.
Liverpool have given it away cheaply to De Jong. Here's Gareth Barry. Now Dzeko, Zabaleta offering the width. He's cross away, but Martin Skirtle behind it. Barry. May not have offered much of a threat in front of goal at the moment, City, but they are building up some rhythm. Lescott's ball goes too long for Dzeko.
Well, it was a good idea, that first time one into the feet of the striker from Lescott, just off a little bit, but they need to try and get in the ball into those advanced areas a little bit quicker before Liverpool can get themselves set and organised.
Here's Downey. Enrique. Downing, count, tried to steer it through for Bellamy, succeeds at the second attempt, but he's offside, doesn't count.
Pretty certain the assistant over on that far side. Nicely played ball through. Certainly is off. Dowd could see that from his position. Took it well enough.
Well, it was nights like this that Kenny Dalglish was looking to bring back to Anfield when he resumed control in January of last year. And if they can succeed in the Carling Cup, he'll be hoping it's merely the starting point for glory days in the Premier League and on the wider stage of Europe as well.
He's only been here a year, hasn't he? A few days over a year. That's no time at all to be rebuilding and changing a club. He's made some signings that still need time to settle down, I think.
Dzeko. Here's Enrique. Downing was forced a little wide and didn't keep it in, according to the linesman anyway. Kenny Dalglish disputes that. His hackles. There wasn't a throw in. The decision was given for. Flag had gone up for offside. We'll go through towards Zabaleta. It's away by Martin Skirtle. Here's Dzeko. Zabaleta. Wiggling free of Downing. Stopped by Gerrard. Savic.
Two players almost on top of De Jong there. That's been the story of the first 26, 27 minutes. Another nervous moment from Savic,
of which there have been many in his City career so far. Here's Nasri. Silva. Dzeko. Skirtle got to him with a block. Downing has only Bellamy ahead.
The ball's down the left-hand channel as he is telling his teammate now.
Another short of advice.
No, not sure coming forward, but there was a huge gap down the left-hand side. Another misplaced pass for City. I mean, they have lacked a little bit of sparkle this first half.
Didn't quite prevent it from going out for the corner. Another awkward moment for the 21-year-old Montenegro international defender, and Charlie Adam with this corner for Liverpool. Off Richards' head. Gerrard didn't really get enough on that. Here's Zabaleta. It's Kolarov. Zabaleta, useful break this from City, but stopped in the end by Steven Gerrard. Going back and covered well then, because in coming back, Daniel Agger had actually slipped. Getting a bit testy between Count and Lescott.
He's caught the ball. I don't know if the Liverpool players thought it had actually gone out or not. They just thought it was their throw-in. Okay, being settled down.
Savage under pressure again, and Bellamy has won that duel. Fortunately for Savage, Richards is there on the cover, but he's given it away again. He's having a bit of a nightmare at the moment, Savage.
Yeah, it's an area I think Roberto Mancini has got to look at, because he does look a bunch of nerves. He's very vulnerable at the moment.
Here's Johnson. Gerrard swings it across, but that's clear of everyone.
Well, it might be that Mancini is thinking about a change in the shape, whether he sacrifices young Stefan Savic, goes back to 4-4-2, because I don't think the new system, the three at the back with the wing-backs, worked particularly well this first half. They haven't been able to get the wing-backs in advanced areas on the ball.
He's not slow to make changes if he sees something that needs altering, Roberto Mancini. He must be concerned with how things are at the back. But here's David Silva. De Jong! Oh! He was off balance, but he struck it so sweetly, and that's a fine goal to wipe out Liverpool's first leg lead.
That's quite incredible, isn't it? Quite incredible when the tide was well and truly against Manchester City. Nigel de Jong, a player not known for his goal scoring, let's be fair, certainly not in a City shirt, grabs one out of nowhere here. And you mentioned the fact he was off balance. I think he's slipping as he hits it, but that helps him almost, just to get the elevation and the direction and the curl around Pepe Reina. It's a wonderful goal. He'll say he meant that, well, why not? Just falling over as he strikes it. And the cop, he's stunned.
Well, it's only the second goal he's ever scored for Manchester City. The other one was against West Ham back in May. Well, what a sweet strike at the cop end for Nigel de Jong. And it's back to square one for Liverpool.
Well, that is football for you. Just when it looked like City were having all sorts of problems, which they were. I mentioned the fact Mancini was looking concerned on the sidelines, might be thinking about a change in formation. Different game now, perhaps.
Here's Gerrard. Out has broken free and looks for Downing with the cross. It's away by Zabaleta. The bounce beats Charlie Adam. Did well, Adam. Forces another save from Joe Hart.
What a pile driver that was from Charlie Adam.
Adam with a corner. Downing lets it run. It's away by Alexander Kolarov. Liverpool, who were behind for 2 minutes in the league game here back in November, looking for a quick response again. And it's Downing with the cross this time. Well taken.
Joe Hart, maybe it'd be better just to hang on to it for a moment. He's giving it away instead.
Here's Gerrard. Bellamy. Johnson. First touch wasn't his best, but it's cleared by Barry for a Liverpool throw-in.
Good response from Liverpool. after that shock.
Couts cross, blocked by Kolarov, who prevents the corner. Johnson. Gerrard's ball in. Silva. Here's Enrique. Now Zabaleta. Dzeko. Silva. Adam sliding in, and it is a free kick.
It was David Silva, wasn't it, that laid it square to Young. He found a bit of space for the goal. If Liverpool aren't careful, he'll find some more before this half is out.
Well, we all know about the threat that Alexander Kolarov poses with free kicks. So Reina will beware.
Out for a straight shot, you would imagine.
Kolarov tries to bend it in. Count is behind it. Enrique with the touch. Here's Downing. Adam and Bellamy breaking ahead of him. Bellamy shows for that. Zabaleta across first. And it was a push from Craig Bellamy.
Ground to make up there, and he nearly did it, Bellamy. Mention the fact that Joe Hart, in the visio, Pepe Reina just had one that he might have saved, one on target, and one goal.
It was a good time for City, that goal. And frailties, particularly with Savic, were looking like being exposed. And De Jong produced that out of nothing. Here's Aga. Enrique. Gerrard. Here's Downing. And a weave away through. Stuart Downing. Cleared by Nasri. Enrique's cross. Stopped by Zabaleta. Downing. Has managed to keep it in.
It's almost stopped there, didn't it?
Here's Johnson. Adam. Enrique struck against Zabaleta.
Nearly into the path of Henderson there. The game has continued in the pattern that it was before the goal. Liverpool doing all the asking, all the attacking.
Couch. Richards meets it just as Aga had eyes on that. Here's Enrique. Swings it round, looking for Couch. That's a really crucial touch from Joleon Lescott.
Well, that was very nearly one of the passes of the season from Charlie Adam. Exquisite effort, and he's at full stretch, isn't he, Lescott? Facing his own goal, does really well to steer it away. Excellent defending.
An incredible ball from Charlie Adam. Can he provide another now from the corner? All the way out to Stuart Downing. Here's Skirtle. Looking for Dirk Kuyt. And it's Agger. And it's Adam. Les got away. Agger! Did Richards handle it? Bellamy there. Phil Dowd's pointed to the spot anyway, has he? He has.
He has. Well, he's signalling the fact that Michael Richards has put the arms up away from the body. Pretty certain of it, the ref. Well, he's made the obstacle bigger. I think that's what you can say. Yes, he's close to it. Sometimes when you dive like that, it's difficult to keep your arms down.
Another war of wills then between two England teammates. Steven Gerrard went to Joe Hart's right in the first leg a fortnight ago. Does he go same side now? He does, and with the same result, Steven Gerrard puts Liverpool back in the driving seat.
Well, there aren't many more reliable either. They're still very annoyed about the award, but Steven Gerrard, when you want your big play, your captain to step up, he does just that. I think there was a little bit of banter between the two, and Gerrard points to his England teammate. He wasn't going to be psyched out. And credit to Liverpool, the way they've reacted. As I said, the arms came out. Oh, he's really unlucky, isn't he, really, because it comes up off the foot. It comes up off the foot, he can't do a lot about it. I'm not sure Phil Dowd actually saw that, you know. Maybe he thought that it did strike the arm straight away. It happens so quickly.
Well, it is very, very unlucky on Michael Richards. The distance between the leg it deflects off and the arm so short. Little he could do about it. Steven Gerrard is Liverpool's Mr. Reliable from the spot. They've had one or two issues with penalties of Liverpool this season. 4 different players have missed them, but of course what that goal does mean is that we won't have a penalty shootout in this semi-final. Here's Kuyt. Johnson. Lovely touch from Bellamy. Glenn Johnson. Here's Downing. Away by Komarov.
Well, what you can say, Rob, whether it was a penalty or not, and I don't think it should have been, Liverpool have been the better side in this first half, by some margin too. Much more inventive and positive and effective going forward. Those corners.
Craig Bellamy's kick. Goal kick.
What I would say about it, Rob, is that it is difficult when you dive in and trying to block it. It is difficult to keep your arms down by your side in those circumstances. It's just a natural movement. And the fact it just pings up off his foot, he can do nothing about it, Michael Richards. I mean, it's got to be intentional. Well, that certainly wasn't.
Here's Enrique. Fractions out there for Downing. Pulsating drama here, and there always is in El Clasico. Barcelona against Real Madrid, the second leg of the Copa del Rey quarter-final. Sky Sports HD2 from 9 o'clock tonight. Here's Dzeko.
I think they could do with him at right back, Michael Richards, to make those kind of runs that he does so well. It will give Enrique a lot more problems than he's getting at the moment against Zabaleta. Whether we'll see that at half-time. Mancini making the switch to a flat back four.
Those are his options on the bench. Owen Hargreaves among them. Here's Henderson. Bellamy thought he'd bent his run to stay onside. Judgment is he'd straight off.
The only problem he's got, of course, Mancini, is that he hasn't got another centre-half, really. If he was to bring Savage off, Richards would need to move inside.
Here's Barry. Nasri. Kolarov. Two added minutes in the first half. Glanced on by Bellamy, but no one there for Liverpool.
Did a good job up there on his own, Craig Bellamy. Been a real nuisance.
There's De Jong. Silva. By Johnson. Skirtle. There's the goal kick. And a Kolarov. Here's Enrique. Now Downing. Henderson. Cleared by Michael Richards. Kolarov. Lescott. Now De Jong. Zabaleta.
Mancini will give his team a quite good volley in that dressing room at half-time. I've expected a lot better than he's seen.
There's Downing. Enrique. Now Bellamy. Enrique forced away by Zabaleta. Half-time, and Liverpool still on course for a final appearance at Wembley thanks to another Steven Gerrard penalty after a slice of good fortune and unlucky decision given against Michael Richards for what Phil Dowd thought was a handball after City had drawn themselves level on aggregate with a great effort from Nigel de Jong, who was slipping but still struck it oh so sweetly at the Kop end. Still in the balance, this one, but at half-time it's 1-1 on the night and Liverpool leading 2-1 on aggregate.
Thanks, Rob. You can see the City players discussing that handball incident. So much to talk about. An intriguing, breathless half of Cup football. We'll get the thoughts of Malcolm Mackay, Shay Given and Jamie Redknapp when we return. Nigel de Jong, he put them back in the tie with that strike. But of course, as he so often does, Steven Gerrard makes it advantage Liverpool. It's been a breathless first half of Carling Cup semi-final action. Nigel de Jong putting the visitors in the lead at the 35th minute. Much to his manager's delight, only for Phil Dowd to give that as a penalty to the hosts. City weren't happy. Steven Gerrard and the fans were, though. That's 2 from 2 against Joe Hart. It's 1-1 on the night. News from the substitutes bench. Stefan Savic is off, and that man there, Aguero, coming on. Jamie, surprised?
Not surprised, not at all. I think you play Michael Richards centre-half, Zabaleta right-back. I think it's a straightforward change there. I think Savic has been... It's been a really difficult, uncomfortable night for him.
He's been given a torrid time, hasn't he, with Bellamy?
Yeah, he's only a young player. He's still learning his game, but I think the manager's seen he's really struggling, and obviously it's not a bad substitution to take off the bench. Aguero, switch things around. Michael Richards is very comfortable at centre-half as well, and as Jamie says, Zabaleta will switch to right-back.
As a manager, would you ever think, you know, let's give him a chance to try and get his confidence back, Malky, and persevere?
I think if you see a chink of light that he's maybe growing into the game, but he's not. He's getting worse as the game is going on, and I think, as she said, I really like Michael Richards at centre-back. I think he's got pace, he's got aggression, and I think the older he's getting, the more he's beginning to read the game. I'd immediately switch him in and put Zabaleta to right-back.
Terrible sub to have as well, Malky, you ended up.
Let's join our commentators for the second half, Alan Smith and Rob Hawthorne.
Well, he had his impact as a substitute in the quarter-final. Sergio Aguero coming on and scoring the winner against Arsenal. And if Manchester City were to score again here, then it would be them in pole position by virtue of the away goals rule, although that wouldn't come into play until the end of extra time. So Liverpool in their first home tie of this season's competition, their only home tie, but is it going to be the one that leads them to Wembley? At the moment it is. Well, we would expect to see City reinvigorated for the second half.
Yeah, you'd think so. You'd think one or two strong words have been said by their manager, Mancini. He's gone with more of a orthodox 4-4-2 with Aguero joining Dzeko, Silva and Nasri playing fairly narrow on the flanks of midfield.
There's Barry. Michael Richards. Nasri the target, Enrique ahead of him. There's Lescott. Lescott, the former Everton player who scored an own goal in the league meeting between the sides here earlier in the season. There's Nigel de Jong, who scored at the right end for Manchester City. Now Silva.
Determined to play it out. De Jong dropping really deep to try and get things going. And Liverpool happy to press in those areas.
On by Dzeko. Johnson pounced, and they're coming together with Kolarov. Couch. Nice cushion touch from Henderson. Bellamy's cross. Downing went for it. It's clear to Couch. Comes back off Hart, and first to it is Joleon Lescott. Enrique.
Such a good move from Liverpool, that. Really nice. Passing a movement from them.
He's made a series of saves in the match, Joe Hart. 5 at least now. And the only time he's been beaten in the tie has been from 12 yards from Steven Gerrard.
Craig Bellamy started it with a lay-off, and then he continues his run to latch on. I don't think Dirk Kuyt caught this properly, but it made the ball dip, and a little awkward for Joe Hart. Knocks it into the ground, in fact. He tries to catch it, and he gets a little bit of luck.
Ultimately, the luck was the sharpness of this man, Julian Lescott, who reacted quickest among the defenders. Here's Kolarov.
Lovely ball.
Silva. De Jong. Zavaleta, Silva. Kolarov. It's come awkwardly off Enrique, and Barry was first onto it.
They've got to do a bit more of that, trying to latch on to those second balls, which Liverpool really did well in the first half. Sharper onto the loose ones. This time Gareth Barry anticipating well.
Fourth appearance in the semi-finals of this competition for Gareth Barry, and he's lost the previous three. Heading for more disappointment here. Skirtle. Kolarov. De Jong. Here's Johnson. And one from Charlie Adam. Zabaleta's there, but Enrique fastens onto it. Downing. Enrique's ball across, dealt with by Lescott and De Jong. Aguero went down from Aguero's challenge, but the referee allows play to continue. Ultimately, he does blow.
There's more poor play from Manchester City there. Rake and Charlie Adam Ball started it. And Nasri was a little slow to track back. Follow Enrique.
Well, a chance here for Liverpool to cement their position. Steven Gerrard, whose penalty has drawn them level on the night, given them an aggregate lead to take this free kick, and warnings here about jumping with arms raised for Nasri and De Jong, who are edging a little further forward than might be expected. Outclimbed as Hart punches away, and Skirtle! Wonderful save!
Wasn't it just? Might just be the save that keeps his team in this competition. An instinctive poke of the right boot from Skirtle, and what a stop.
Great form he's been in again tonight, Joe Hart. Gerrard's corner, Skirtle up there for it, couldn't direct his header though.
Been in the standing form this season. Joe Hart seems to be getting better with each passing match. Really top class.
There's Aguero. Samir Nasri. A little behind Silva, it's away by Skirtle and then by Enrique. To Nigel De Jong. Richards. Anticipation by Agger, good ball too from Henderson. Count in space. Bellamy and Downing getting forward, and two more following. Downing! And again, Joe Hart produces heroics.
He's got this great ability to spread himself, hasn't he, and make his body as big as possible. Started off well by Henderson with a first-time pass. Was it going in? It might well have been from Downing at the far stick. Oh, he's hit it down, makes it really awkward for Hart, but he's equal to the task.
Liverpool into double figures for corners, and Joe Hart heading for double figures of important saves here. It must be around 7 at least now that he's made to keep Liverpool at bay. Headed away by Edin Dzeko. Lescott.
Better for City, there's been a reaction, they have been more purposeful in the second half.
Here's Count, just beyond the reach of Charlie Adam. Liverpool have a problem here because Jordan Henderson is down and in some pain. Phil Dowd has seen that now. And the referee's going to produce a card here. Pull off the man in trouble.
Signalling the foot up. Phil Dowd there. The collar off. Now Henderson's foot came up as well.
We're heading for the same outcome as when these sides met in their previous League Cup semi-final back in 1981, when Liverpool won with a Ray Kennedy goal at Main Road, and then it was a 1-1 draw here in which Kenny Dalglish scored. Joe Hart has only been beaten over the piece by 2 spot kicks from Steven Gerrard, but his saves have kept Manchester City in with a fighting chance here.
Yeah, and saves like that can win you trophies, keep you in competitions, and maybe win you trophies, certainly help you to win league titles.
Names from the 80s there: Hansen, Rush, Thompson. Of course, they were very successful in this competition in the 80s when 4 on the trot. Kenny Dalglish played in all of them. Scored in the replay victory over West Ham back in 1981 after they'd seen off Manchester City with his goal in the semi-final. Here's Craig Bellamy. He's won a corner out of Michael Richards.
It's a really good starting position from Bellamy. Puts himself in an area where any clearance from the back he was going to be able to latch onto. There was still a good chance of doing that.
Gerrard's corner, met by Lescott. Downing's cross, too deep for Count. Gerrard will keep it alive. Adam. Driven against Gareth Barry. Kolarov. Wins the throw for City. City have been pushed back rather more than they might have anticipated with the start they made to the second half. Guerrero's not really been able to get into it yet. He was towered over by Skirtle then.
Yeah, Liverpool do have a really determined look about them. A long way to go yet, though.
Liverpool really pushing them back. A rare venture forward here for City then. Edin Dzeko. Zabaleta. Beyond Silva, and no one at the far post for Manchester City.
Dzeko didn't get a chance to peel away, really. He was involved in that move. There's been an improvement of sorts, but not enough for City so far. Still having to do an awful lot of defending here.
Bellamy. Here's Couch. Tried to steer it round for Bellamy, and Micah Richards read that. Here's De Jong. Barry. Nasri. Here's Silva. Barry. Away goes Aguero.
Great movement, Paul. On the ball, but great movement from Aguero. Completely did skirtle there. Just came short and then spun behind the centre half. Really clever play.
And the Liverpool defence has heeded the lessons of the weekend, where they were sliced through too easily by Bolton.
There's been a lot of talk, hasn't there, particularly in the Liverpool dressing room. Dalglish demanding a response. He's got one here. So far, at least, they've been excellent.
Here's Silva. It's stopped by Agger. Now Henderson. And so far, that Liverpool backline has coped with the intricacies of Manchester City's passing game in the final third. Can they hold out? Here's Downing. Enrique charging forward. All the way across to Bellamy, who misses his kick. Clearance from Kolarov in the end that picks out Silva. Aguero, though, couldn't return it to him. Zabaleta. Enrique not happy about the initial challenge.
Well, it was a chance, he knows it. A good one. It started with a poor De Jong touch. Conceded possession. And a complete miss kick. Oh, a miss altogether, an air shot from Craig Bellamy. Bellamy, who's been excellent once again tonight.
Just beyond the reach of Dirk Kuyt. Barry. Agger. Coming forward with purpose, counters the ball, but as he looked towards him, Gareth Barry pounced. Nasri, has he overrun it? Downing thought he had. Here's Barry. Found himself crowded out.
Well, you have to think City have got to get better at the moment. Just running down blind alleys, giving the ball away. The passing's been sloppy. It's that kind of thing.
Cleared by Henderson. Talk about teams prioritising trophies, but when you haven't won a major trophy for as long as City had up until they claimed the FA Cup last year, then you want it to start becoming a habit. And they're so close to the final here that Roberto Mancini's team have to keep pushing on relentlessly. They're looking for inroads here with Zabaleta winning a free kick.
And Enrique just pulling him back. This is a dangerous free kick position.
Well, the card here. Jose Enrique following his skipper Steven Gerrard into the book.
Not an easy one to defend this, with David Silva whipping one in with his left foot. Seemed to get the delivery right.
Silva doesn't get the delivery right. There you go.
He's human.
Well, a reminder that if City do score and take it to level on aggregate, they would be in the dominant position by virtue of the away goals, although they wouldn't count until the end of extra time. Uniquely in this competition.
The fact, Rob, that City need to be getting to finals every year, and you're right. At the moment, it almost seems as if it means more to these Liverpool players. They want it more. That's been the pattern of the match.
Usually they haven't had European football at Anfield this year, and at least the Carling Cup, if they won it, would guarantee a route back into Europe for Kenny Dalglish and for Liverpool. It is a huge week for them. Off the back of the Bolton defeat, they couldn't afford to lose here and go into the FA Cup tie with Manchester United off the back of 2 defeats. Smiles, fortunately, between Bellamy and Nigel de Jong. Not always Mr. Popular Bellamy. He's not exactly got Nigel Rio Coca in his fan club, but maybe he has got Nigel de Jong in it.
1 or 2 friendly chats during the course of this match.
Here's Dzeko. Booted upfield by Gerrard, and Richards unusually makes the mistake, but Joleon Lescott is there to cover for him. Gerrard wins the header. Count. Gerrard. Barry.
Liverpool's got to be careful that they don't lose the shape and commit. Taking your men forward there, Glenn Johnson skipping on. Not back now though.
It's Kolarov with the cross, and Dzeko's there! And Manchester City are back in the driving seat. Dzeko, who's had such a lean time for goals lately, comes up with a big one.
Well, it was a beauty of a cross. Alexander Kolarov, it really was. The position is in, but Liverpool, you would expect to clear that, whether it's the first or the second man there. Neither can get a touch. Dzeko has got the simplest of tap-ins at the far stick here. A bit like the first half, you couldn't see the City goal coming. All of a sudden, in the back of the Liverpool's net.
Well, he earned the away win at Wigan recently with his only goal in his last 13 matches, Edin Dzeko, but he's come up with a huge one here. And it's worth reminding you again that that could be crucial come the end of extra time. And Liverpool suddenly find the problems focused back on them. How quickly things change. And the delight of Brian Kidd and David Platt wasn't exactly repeated by Roberto Mancini with his very cool response to that goal from Edin Dzeko. But it does mean that as things stand, City, not Liverpool, heading for Wembley.
Well, we know what he's like, Roberto Mancini. He would have been fuming, I think, mainly because of the way his team were playing. That 2 on target, 2 goals.
Well, how crucial those saves from Joe Hart may turn out to be now. Silva.
De Jong. As poorly as they have played, They've proved a few times this season, Manchester City, that they don't give up on football matches. In the way they didn't give up against Tottenham on Sunday.
It's the first time Liverpool have conceded more than one goal in a game at Anfield this season. Here's Barry. Now De Jong. Silva. Aguero. Now Dzeko. De Jong. Silva.
Amazing how the complexion of a football match can change so quickly.
Count. Gerrard. Now Downing. Enrique. Downing's cross. Blocked by Lescott. And away to Gareth Barry.
Done well the second half, Gareth Barry, I think. Made some important interceptions.
It's not a question of stick or twist, really, for Kenny Dalglish. His team need another goal from somewhere. But Andy Carroll has been much criticised by the man to provide it.
He's getting warmed up now, Rob. Andy Carroll. He's been told to have a jog up and down that line.
And after all the derision he has faced, is facing, this would be the perfect time to answer his critics. Here's Gerrard. Here's Gerrard. Bellamy's cross, blocked by Micah Richards. Back across by Bellamy, but Carrot was blocked off anyway by Alexander Kolarov. An appeal to his captain to drive the team on.
Might yet see a few twists and turns in this football match.
Liverpool's 13th home game of the season. Is it going to be the unlucky first defeat of the campaign? They haven't lost in the previous 12, all of them in the Premier League. But they're staring at the prospect of defeat here, although they will get more than the 18 minutes of normal time left to repair it. They will get the luxury of extra time as well if the score stays the way it is.
I think as a manager you've got to use your substitutions wisely, knowing there might be another 30 minutes.
Agger. It's a wayward ball that's gone straight to Nigel de Jong. Bellamy came back to repair the damage. Here's Stuart Downing. Wins his duel with Gareth Barry. Bellamy making the run ahead. Skirtle. Johnson. Nice ball from Julian Lescott, keeps the pressure on. I'm truly not happy with the quality of that. Here's Couch. Bellamy's layoff Johnson, back to Bellamy! And it is the Welshman who has raised the prospect of Liverpool facing the Welsh side in the final of the Carling Cup.
Well, if anybody was going to score it for Liverpool, surely Craig Bellamy was favourite after the game that he's had. He's been absolutely superb for Liverpool tonight. And what a flowing, crisp, incisive passing move this was. It's not the first time they've managed it, Liverpool, but it's probably the most important time. Lovely interchange between Johnson and Bellamy. And the finish is confident and decisive this time. Joe Hart, who's been in magnificent form himself, can do nothing with that one. Just when he was calling for more effort from his players, he gets a superb bit of quality.
Well, an emotional reaction from Kenny Dalglish to Craig Bellamy's 8th goal of the season. And Manchester City are now the team who need to do it all again. Unless Liverpool can put them down for good here. It's Jordan Henderson. Counts!
Well, there would have been a good time to get his 2nd goal of the season. The finishing top scorer last with 13 goals. He's on a real drought.
When he laid it off to Glenn Johnson, it was with the idea of Glenn Johnson scoring, but the fullback was unselfish, and Bellamy, who scored it, could be in again here. He's got to try and get away from Lescott, though.
I've got to say, he's had some good games for Liverpool this season, but I think this is the best. He will not stop. Given those 2 centre-halves, 3 centre-halves in the first half, and absolutely torrid time.
Well, they were worried, no doubt about it. Charlie Adam. Away by Barry.
City getting caught 2-on-1 there.
Still City only a goal away from getting the ball back in their court.
Not 2 goals against the run of play. Can they get 3?
Sheko, whose goal might have taken City to Wembley until Bellamy struck. City change in the offing with Adam Johnson set to come on here. Silva looking for a route through to Aguero, but skirtle away. Silva. Back from Richards. Here's Zabaleta. Now Nasri. Bellamy's down. That's a sight that will be a relief to City.
It's just an arm off. Oh no, he's followed through, and when Micah Richards hits you like that, you are going to feel it. Accidental.
Substitution to Manchester City. Number 11, Adam Johnson replacing number 34.
Well, here comes the Manchester City change. One of their scorers, Nigel de Jong, the man making way for Adam Johnson. Johnson, who scored in the 4th round win at Wolves. Is the Premier League schedule next midweek. We've got Everton against Manchester City live next Tuesday. It's from 7:30 on Sky Sports HD2. That game also available in Sky 3D. And then on Wednesday, we've got Sunderland against Norwich live, Sky Sports HD2. That's from 7:30.
want to lose Craig Bellamy, and he doesn't look like he's tiring. He's full of running.
Well, he wasn't off for long, Craig Bellamy. It's a huge kick. Offside. Richards. Here's Silva. Collar off with a cross that deflects back to Dzeko. And it's off his arm, says Phil Dowd.
Two handballs in that penalty area against City.
Collar off. Away by Skirtle. Here's Dzeko. Looking to set Adam Johnson away. He's in here for City. Johnson!
Well held. Just lost his momentum going forward. Cut back inside, I think his chances were reduced, but what a ball from Edin Dzeko to release the winger. Needed to get it out of his feet there, away from the defender if he could have. An easy one.
Anderson forced Lescott to put it into touch. And suddenly there's no rush for Liverpool to take these throw-ins. Gerrard. Johnson. Count. Trying to get away from Kolarov, who played it against the Liverpool man.
Time running out for City. And they will keep on going. They've got that winning mentality about them. Sometimes you can get a result when you don't play well. Let's face it, City haven't played well so far.
Won here in 9 seasons. Here's Henderson. Not too much on in the middle for him until Bellamy gets there. It's away by Zabaleta. From Nicholson Elka and City their last win at this ground 9 seasons ago. They are to progress to the final of the Carling Cup. They need to win here tonight. 7 minutes plus stoppage time left. Here's Alexander Kolarov.
Need to get a bit closer to Kolarov, don't they? He sets up the second goal for City, and on that left foot of his, they can't afford to give him time and space out there to deliver.
City's second corner, and it's a signal for Micah Richards and Joleon Lescott to come forward for it. It's beyond Richards and headed away to Johnson. Here's Silva. Johnson again. Looking for Dzeko, away by Johnson. That was a foul by, an offside rather, against Dzeko.
Maybe caught Ben Johnson as well there.
Been celebrating when City have got themselves into the driving seat. There's almost been an air of resignation about Mancini towards this, it seems.
Well, it's the kind of performance he would not be happy with, despite the goals. Even in a 5-1 win, he'll be moaning about the goal that they've conceded. He is a perfectionist.
Maybe in the driving seat, but it doesn't lessen the tension for Liverpool or City fans about the outcome here. It has swung unpredictably. Henderson. Here's Gerrard, 3 in the box. Away by Lescott. Barron. Kenny Dalglish ended the first leg with 6 defenders on the pitch as he used his substitutes bench to shore up and hold on to what they had. He has got the awkward problem with this, that if City were to break through again, he might still need his talent up front to strike again for Liverpool in extra time. So at the moment, Liverpool trying to see it out with what they have.
5 minutes to do that. They have worked incredibly hard tonight. One final push and they might well be there.
Here's Dzeko. Johnson's cross. Away by Enrique. Here's Aguero. The referee was in the way of Silva then, but Johnson finds Zabaleta, and here's Dzeko on the turn. Good block, and Liverpool survive.
Daniel Agger going to ground with the all-important block there.
No-nonsense challenge.
All it takes, though, isn't it? A ball into the box, into the feet of one of those strikers. Turning a shot.
Well, here comes the first Liverpool change, and it is a defensive one. Martin Kelly coming on for Craig Bellamy, whose goal may end up being the decisive one. He scored against one former club to possibly set up a reunion with another in the final.
Well, Michael Richards and co will be pleased to see the back of him, I think. The way he's played tonight deserves this standing ovation. He's been a constant thorn in the side of City. And what a contribution that might turn out to be.
Martin Kelly, who got a key goal for Liverpool in this run in the quarter-final at Chelsea.
Maybe Kelly going in there as the third centre-half.
Bellamy justifiably happy with this evening's work. But do City have anything left in the tank to keep their Carling Cup run going to the very end? Dzeko rolls it into the path of Kolarov. Carried by Skirtle. Silva trying to keep it from Johnson. Back across from Kolarov.
Anybody brave enough to get the head on that. But he has been a danger, Kolarov, on that left-hand side.
Mancini here hoping to lead City to their 4th Wembley visit in 10 months, but it is amazing considering Liverpool's proud history that since Wembley reopened they haven't been there. They're looking to reach their first Wembley final since the FA Cup final of 1996, which didn't work out well for them. A late defeat to Eric Cantona's goal in that final. Zabaleta. Cleared by Enrique, only to Nasri though. Nasri. Barry. Dzeko. Here's Nasri. It's precise from Manchester City, but is he going to lead them anywhere? Oh, the needle stuff lead, didn't it? It breaks down of Dzeko in the end.
They're important, they're experienced defenders, Liverpool, to make sure they don't sink on top of Pepe Reina. Make sure they hold the line in the 18-yard area.
4 minutes added time.
Well, Liverpool have got 4 more minutes to hang on. City have got 4 minutes in which to find the goal that would take it to extra time, and Andy Carroll is going to come on. Place of Dirk Kuyt.
Well, I think it's to give them an outlet in these last few minutes. Dirk Kuyt's got through an awful lot of work, as he normally does.
th Liverpool game for the £35 million buy. A run that's yielded just 6 goals, first 2 of which were against Manchester City here last April. Liverpool already heading in the Wembley direction. It's just a case of not resting on their laurels now and trying to resist what you would imagine would be a late City charge to get the goal to take it to an extra 30 minutes.
That's just the ball you need. Lovely ball from Steven Gerrard. He's given a push though.
Well, City have to go for it now. A run that started with a victory against last year's winners, Birmingham, could be about to end here at the semi-final stage. It will be their 2nd semi-final defeat in 3 years. Carroll here trying to bustle his way clear of Richards and Lescott, but Lescott wins the physical battle.
That's what he's there for, Carroll, just to try and hold up the ball, be a nuisance to those centre-halves.
Nasri. David Silva. Broken up by Steven Gerrard, but given away to Lescott. Richards. Here's Dzeko. Gave away rather sloppily.
Gerrard wasn't going to try a short ball that time.
Mago misses his header. Aguero!
He's hardly had a sniff. Sergio Aguero, since coming on. But always a danger in these situations.
Johnson. Here's Henderson. Does he just keep it here now? Run down the clock for the final minute.
It's been a famous night at Anfield, just the kind that Kenny Dalglish would have wanted, and it's been a fantastic performance by his players. A bit like Malky Mackay's players last night, the Cardiff lads. Liverpool have been the better team here. And they might well end up meeting Cardiff but for any last-second shots, and I think they would deserve it. Difficult to argue against that, the way they've worked Liverpool for each other. Full of determination, like a dog with a bone, they would not give up.
Well, they're just trying to frustrate Manchester City to the finale now. A bit of teasing going on. Here's Johnson. They've gone beyond the 4 minutes, but there was that substitution with Andy Carroll, so we can expect maybe one last chance for City, but possibly only the one. It has to be the big boot forward from Joe Hart. Who gets the touch? Glenn Johnson does. Wembley welcomes back Liverpool Football Club. It's a long overdue return to the National Stadium, their first cup final there since 1996. And the aim that Kenny Dalglish had to bring back the good times to Liverpool are well on course now. They're in the final against Cardiff on February the 26th. Liverpool reacted to the harsh words of Dalglish and his captain Steven Gerrard after the weekend defeat by Bolton. They came out fighting here and celebrated by that successful team of the 80s that started their tremendous affinity with this competition. Liverpool have got there. Joe Hart, unlucky, made a series of fine staves, and Manchester City twice had the lead here through De Jong and Dzeko, but Craig Bellamy got the decisive goal to level it on the night, to score against one former club and to lead them to a final against another, Cardiff City, where he spent time on loan. It's a celebratory Burns night for the Scotsman, Kenny Dalglish. There will be two Scottish managers in the final, and no doubt about it, Liverpool will go into that, Alan, as overwhelming favourites.
Well, they will do, but I think fair play to them tonight. They were worthy winners, thoroughly deserved victory. You don't always get what you deserve in this game, but they have here tonight. And it'll be an enthralling final, I think, against Cardiff. As for Manchester City, I think they'll accept, Rob, that they didn't quite produce tonight when they needed to. They weren't good enough. And we wish Liverpool well.
So Steven Gerrard gets his dream to lead out Liverpool at Wembley. He hasn't captained them in the two previous Carling Cup successes in which he's played. Stanley Hooper was captain in one, Robbie Fowler was in the other, but Gerrard now must fancy his chances of lifting the trophy for Kenny Dalglish's side. He came back here a year ago with the team at a low ebb. Remember, in their last Carling Cup tie here, they lost to lowly Northampton Town on penalties. But here they've had a tremendous run in this competition. They've done it the hard way, away for every game up until tonight. But having done it the hard way, they have done it. And with another penalty from Steven Gerrard to follow up the one he got in the first leg, and Craig Bellamy's decisive goal, Liverpool have reached Wembley and a Carling Cup final against Cardiff. It's finished 2-2 on the night and 3-2 to Liverpool on aggregate.
What a half of football. Just exceptional, world-class performance by Joe Hart. It just wasn't enough in the end. You can see how much this means to all those Liverpool fans and players. We've got Carling Cup final. This is how it's going to line up. On Sunday, the 26th of February, Cardiff, Malky Mackay's Cardiff, will be taking on Liverpool. 3:30 on Sky HD and available in 3D for you. We'll get the thoughts of Malky, who's desperately looking forward to lining up against his fellow Scotsman on that final, and Shay Given and Jamie when we return. But it was, of course, about Craig Bellamy tonight. The Cardiff old boy puts his new club through. You can see just what this victory means to King Kenny Dalglish here at Anfield. Masterminded the first return in 16 years for Liverpool at Wembley. GC, what a special night it is for the manager. And this is why. So it finished 2-2 on the night, 3-2 on aggregate. These Liverpool players celebrating the chance to get to Wembley and play for some silverware. Truly extraordinary scenes. Well, there you go, Malky. It's Liverpool that are going to be your opponents. Happy?
Yeah, I suppose so. It could have been either one, but I thought it was a terrific game tonight. If you know, any response was needed from Kenny Dalglish's comments by his players, it was tonight. They were resilient. They showed character. And I think it was all encompassed in Craig Bellamy. You know, I think from minute 1 to the last minute that he was on the pitch, he caused so many problems for Man City tonight.
Shay, you were adamant City were going to do it. Joe Hart was truly exceptional in the goal, but not quite enough in the end. Yeah,
Joe was phenomenal tonight. Didn't deserve, I think, on both legs to be on the losing side. He was fantastic. And looking at the clips of the penalty, it was never a penalty, I don't think, in the first half. But you got to congratulate Liverpool, and especially Kenny Dalglish. You know, you've seen on the pictures as well how emotional he was and what it meant to him as well. So. And delight for Craig as well, who got the winner.
Jamie, you know only too well what it's like to play at this ground. What will this do for the red side of Liverpool?
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, people have... How can you question Kenny Dalglish? I mean, he cares so much about this football club. I mean, the performance today epitomised everything that's good about this club. The fans were right behind them. As Malky says, Craig Bellamy was magnificent. Steven Gerrard grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck second half as well. And they deserved it tonight. They really did. I thought they were exceptional. And I think Kenny deserves a lot of credit tactically as well, because it would have been easy today, 1-0 up, maybe to play the big man Andy Carroll and go long and just to get second balls. But he said, no, we're going to play, we're going to pass the ball, we're going to move it, we're going to get players out of position they don't want to be in. And that's what Craig Bellamy did. His movement was exceptional. They had to keep passing the ball because they haven't got the big man up front. And I think that's why their movement was so good tonight.
Very much so. I mean, the second half, balls in and around Kolarov. Any sort of ball they got in behind Kolarov, and it was passing, it wasn't lumping balls. It was any time that Bellamy that started running that channel caused them so many problems. That's where the goal came from. His goal came from there.
You forgot him whilst he was the front man, because he's played so often. No, so often now he plays on the left or on the right. But when he plays up front, he can cause so many problems. I mean, what a free transfer he's been. He was exceptional tonight.
Yeah, well, we can hear from him. He's with Steven Gerrard. They're talking to Annie Burton.
Steve, you're going to Wembley. How does that sound?
Yeah, it's a great feeling. It's been a while. Last time. Well, it was Cardiff last time we went to a cup final, so too long for this club, 2006, so yeah, delighted for everyone connected with the club, especially the fans.
At the end of this interview, you're going to give the Man of Match award to Craig Bellamy. How influential and important was he in terms of getting the result tonight?
Yeah, he was the difference tonight. His pace, always a threat, and we all know if a chance falls to him, he can finish. He's done it for many, many years, so a big thanks to him tonight. You know, he's been the difference to get us through.
Craig, you got a standing ovation, you got a goal against your old club, a Man of the Match performance. Is that just about the perfect night for you?
Yeah, you know, the omens were looking good going into it. You know, I watched the game yesterday, you know, seen Cardiff go through, and, you know, a big part of me was, you know, delighted for them, but knowing, you know, this is a great opportunity for ourselves. We're 1-0 up. It could be, you know, it can be a better final for me, because Cardiff means so much to me. It's where I'm from. You know, to go there, Wembley, I've never played at Wembley, and to be part of this football club as well, and to beat a club like Man City with all the players they have, and the quality was just so fitting for us to get to the final.
And is it nice for you as well as a Welshman? We had so many cup finals go to that city to play in that Millennium Stadium that you get to play in one in London now.
Yeah, it is. I got to play, like it was a charity shield, but got to play for Liverpool at Cardiff there, and I got to watch a couple of cup finals watching Liverpool at Cardiff there. So it's just, you know, it's just funny how football can work out at times. You know, we work hard as every player does at this club every day to try and improve his players, and you know, this to get to the first major competition, the final, is big for us.
Steve, was attack the best form of defence at times tonight?
Yeah, I think we had to block out the scoreline from the first leg, and we had to be positive and brave. We didn't want to protect the lead because Man City have got so much quality. I think if you're protecting your negative, they'll beat you comfortably. So credit to the lads. We were bold formation. We attacked. And you know, our tactics paid off in the end. The sweet thing about it was the reaction from Saturday. We wasn't good enough Saturday, and we wanted to prove a point today and reward the fans. And it's not just the team that played tonight; it's everyone who's played from the third round. So yeah, big well done to everyone.
A couple of points on Joe Hart. Do you feel a bit sorry for him after some of the amazing saves he's made in both legs? And also, what's it like taking a penalty against him? Because he banters you a little bit out there, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's all mind games. You know, that's what Joe's about. He's a big character, but I don't feel sorry for him because you know, he's going to play in many cup finals. He's a top keeper. He's at a top club. You know, it's our turn now. We've got to go and enjoy it and make sure that we finish it off. You know, Arsenal done last year. I think they underestimated Birmingham, and Birmingham beat them. So we need to show Cardiff respect, turn up like we did tonight, and I'm sure we can lift that trophy.
Congratulations, boy. Craig, great performance. Carling man of the match. Well done.
Right, thanks a lot. Cheers, mate. Super. Cheers. Thank you.
That's a shame, Malky. I suppose you were hoping they might underestimate you.
No, I mean, you know, he spoke so well there. I think both of them spoke well there. Craig obviously showed the passion that he's got for both clubs.
You're still in touch with the owners of your club, right?
Yeah, very much so. I had a cup of coffee with him when I arrived. Now, somebody obviously played for Cardiff last season, and we tied up. We've known each other since Norwich days together, but he still keeps in touch with their Malaysian owners, and you know, I think they were trying to. They're still always trying to tease him back. So maybe they'll drop him a little line just to say go easy on us.
In terms of his performance tonight, Jamie, lots of people talking about the extraordinary performance by Joe Hart, world-class performance, but you edged it for Craig Bellamy.
Well, the goalkeepers' union was trying their best to give Joe Hart the man of the match in here, but I just felt from the start of the game, and this was very early in the game, they had to take off Savic because of he was just tormenting him from start to finish of that half. And just moments like that, his endeavour, his ability to make things happen, he was an absolute nuisance all game for them, wasn't he?
He sets the tempo for the rest of the team as well. He gets everybody, you know, biting into tackles and closes defenders, doesn't give anybody a second on the ball. And you know, it's fitting that he got the goal as well, a great finish as well. I think him and Johnson combined really well, and a fantastic goal.
He kind of defies logic, though, doesn't he, Malky? You know how injury-prone he can be, how bad his knees are.
Yeah, stop him.
And he just didn't stop all night.
It's you know, it's not so much injury-prone, it's the fact that he had a knee problem, but as long as it's managed properly, he's able to play. You know, and the fact that they've managed to get him out twice in 4 days this time really shows the character of the boy. They obviously really fancied him tonight against Savic. And even second half, I think second half when Savic went off, the runs that he made in behind Julian Lescott and Kolarov caused, well, it ended up, you know, making Liverpool go through, because that's what got them the goal.
And modern day football, if you've got a forward like that that's going to work hard, for the rest of the team, it's so handy, because as a midfield player, you know that they're not going to come out and not going to be able to play because he's always making a nuisance of himself. As a back four, you've always he was making bad passes look good, and it was exactly what you need. He made things happen tonight, and that's why, in my opinion, not in shape, but that's why he was the man of the match.
But when we talk about Joe Hart tonight, we highlighted him before the game, Shane, and you talked about some of his qualities. I mean, he was yet again exceptional.
For sure, and some of the saves, he was world class. I mean, I thought it was one of them nights, because Liverpool played really well tonight, don't get me wrong, they played well and probably deserved to go through, but it's the night when Joe played so well, made some great saves, and you think, you know, Man City are going to nick it at the other end because the keepers played so well. He doesn't deserve to be on the losing side, but, you know, as I say, you've got to give Liverpool great credit. You see the saves here now, but he was phenomenal. We spoke about him before the game, and this is the one early doors in the first couple of minutes. I mean, a similar save at the Etihad Stadium as well, and he's done that all season. With the last couple of seasons, he's been fantastic. There again, he holds on that well. There's a forward chasing on it, and he's been phenomenal.
Frustration for Mancini, I suppose, Jamie, that it's Joe Hart that is their best player as opposed to their strikers at the other end.
I have to be honest. I mean, they weren't quite at it today, I don't think, City, and I think that's credit to Liverpool. But look at that, and that was a good save, but terrible punch, though, no?
That's his weakness.
They weren't at their best, and. You know, but that's like a goaltender in ice hockey, you know, when they're making themselves big. But what they've done is they've put all their eggs in one basket now, Man City. They've only got the Premier League left. It's been a terrible few weeks from obviously out of the Champions League, out of the FA Cup, out of the Carling Cup now. They've got to make sure they do the business. Will the Europa suddenly
become more important, though? Will they start sort of taking that more seriously?
No, I don't think you can say that. No? What a lovely distraction it would have been to be playing the Carling Cup final in a few weeks for the players. You know, why wouldn't you want to be? You know, they've got breaks now. They're at the FA Cup. There is no good side to this, in my opinion. It will deflate them. Listen, they've got a lot to look forward to, but you can't say you want to play in cup finals as a player.
And it's why Aguero should have started. You know, Aguero come on in the second half, and every time we were talking about his movement during the second half, it was fantastic, his movement, and he starts the game. They're a different team. You know, I thought Dzeko was very quiet. I know he scores the goal, but he was very, very quiet tonight.
I suppose it's testament to Bellamy that they had to take Savic off, which meant that Aguero could come on, and they shuffle things round as well.
Jamie called that at half-time.
I mean, I think with Savic, I mean, it makes you wonder really why they didn't. If you were Manchester, you didn't go for Gary Cahill. When you think £7 million, if they were to pick up injuries now, it means Micah Richards is going to have to play centre half, in my opinion, for the next couple of games, because they still haven't got company. he was out of his depth tonight. He really found it difficult, Savic. He's a young man, he's 21, but he found it so difficult, the movement of Bellamy. And you just thought, well, you know, if they get a couple of injuries in that back four, they haven't really got the strength in depth that you would really want. And that's why I'm surprised when a player like that becomes available for £7 million, they didn't at least try to go and get him.
The reality, of course, Company is back now. This was the period that Savic needed to step up, Shay, but having Company back for City, you believe, is going to, you know,
We've still got 2 more games.
Yeah.
No, that was back now.
Sorry, he's a very influential player. You know, he's one of the best defenders in the league, and any team would miss him, you know, and it'll be great for City to have him back now for the run-in for the Premier League. But as Jamie says, the pressure's on the manager now because they really need to get that Premier League because they're out of everything else, and you know, obviously they spent a lot of money getting these players in, and the pressure builds, I suppose.
Pressure does build. It also builds if you're the Liverpool manager. He's a hero here, and he's proved it again tonight. Absolutely delighted with his performance of his team. He's with Andy Burton.
Kenny, just how pleased are you to have got the job done tonight?
I think it was a fantastic performance. I think, although the game finished a draw, I think we were deserved qualifiers for the final. I think the boys were magnificent tonight, and they deserve a great deal of credit. But every single one of the players that's in the first team squad, I think apart from Fabio, have played in this competition, and they've helped us to get through. Although the boys tonight were magnificent, the other people have put us in this position to be able to qualify for the final, and everybody in the squad, as I say, deserves credit for where we're going. And the supporters were magnificent. It's a great reward for them and the loyalty and support that they've shown us. So for everybody at Liverpool, it's been a fantastic evening.
We talked a little bit before the game about whether you'd be defensive or not. Obviously, you said that wasn't going to be the case. In some ways, Kenny, did you put the scoreline from the first leg out of your mind and just go out to try and win this one outright?
We put everything out of our mind for the first leg and just competed for what it was tonight. And we got, as we said, we had a little reward for the great performance we put in at Eastlands. And the performance tonight, obviously we know we're 1-0 up, but I don't think that reflected the performance. I think the boys just went out and played the game as it came to them.
Did you see the penalty decision well enough to give an opinion on it? Was it a penalty for you?
I'll go along with the referee.
What other aspects of the performance pleased you the most?
No, we were just delighted with everything. All the effort, the commitment, the things that we said were lacking on Saturday was there in abundance tonight. So for us, it's a wee bit early to start analysing things, but we'll just enjoy the moment and get ourselves ready for Saturday as well.
What about Craig Bellamy's contribution?
He was unbelievable. If Man City have anybody else like Craig that they don't want to keep, then fine. They know where we are.
He's been like that on more than one occasion, hasn't he? How important is he for you? He seems like one of your key men right now. He's
been like that since he came in the door. And we've said it many times in the past. We're probably repeating ourselves. It's fantastic to have him here. He's a great professional. He knows the football club. He loves the football club. And he knows how to look after himself, prepare himself. And geez, if he can put in a performance like that, then I think everybody should copy what Craig's done.
Congratulations, Kenny. Well done.
Thanks, man.
Roberto, what are your thoughts?
Well, nothing. We did a good performance. We scored 2 goals. I think that was not penalty for Liverpool, and it was a penalty for us on Dzeko. And this changed the game.
Why do you think it was not a penalty against Micah?
Because he touched the ball before in his leg, for this reason. But now, we have to do this.
Not many of your players seem to appeal for the penalty on Edin Dzeko. Why was that?
But there is a referee on the pitch. Is enough. Was penalty. Clear penalty. It's incredible penalty. This was not penalty against us. After we did well. We scored. We did some mistake because we considered the second stupid goal. But now it's finished, so we can do nothing.
Does it make it hard for you to accept then when you leave here?
No, I accept. Football is football. It's important, but there are other things more important in the life. It's important that we did everything to try to win this game, but we didn't win. Now it's finished.
Do you think your decision to play 3 central defenders worked in the first half?
why not? We consider only a penalty that was not penalty.
Yeah, but you changed at half-time, didn't you?
Yeah, I changed because we were 1-1. Was what we thought before the game. 1-1 in first half, second half. We changed.
Is Savic struggling at the moment?
No, maybe Savic is young, but I sub him in the second half because we need to score another goal only for this.
Thank you, Roberto.
You're welcome.
Let's have a look at that incident he's talking about on Edin Dzeko. You said at the time, Shay, that you thought it looked like a penalty. What do you think now?
Just get a look at it again. I mean,
Does he come through there? Charlie Adams gone through the back of him?
I don't think it's a stone wall penalty looking at it first off, but I think his touch has kicked the back of his ankle, and for me, it's a penalty. Like.
What do you think, Malky?
I think you look at it second, third time, definitely. I think straight off like that, Phil Dowd's got a difficult decision to make there. I don't think he can see that from from behind.
Savic is actually the only one that appeals, isn't he, out of all the players?
He's from behind, and at that point that looks like a tackle from behind. I think it's until you actually look at that real close up, you then judge that that's a penalty.
I mean, again, it's that thing about margins, isn't it, Jamie? We talk about the margins, these decisions that do or don't go for you.
Absolutely. I mean, you get some. Well, I can think back to Sunday. You know, Balotelli stays on the pitch. Shouldn't have been. He ended up scoring the winning goal. So I wouldn't say that it swings in roundabouts and it all levels out in the end, but you get moments that go your way, and some days it just doesn't. OK, the man between the sticks for Manchester City was exceptional tonight. Unfortunately, he's on the losing side. He's chatting with Andy Burton.
Joe, Jamie Redknapp has just said in the studio tonight that there's no good for Manchester City that comes out of this. It's not as though it allows you to concentrate on the league or anything like that. Do you agree?
Yeah. We wanted to win. We wanted to get to the final. Take our fans to Wembley again. Unfortunately, we can't do that this year, but it's gone now. You know, I think we gave everything. Liverpool deserved to be in the final, not Man City over the two legs. So we move on.
How hard is it for you to accept having made a string of great saves tonight and in the first leg?
It's hard to accept whether, you know, I was a bystander for the whole thing. You know, it hurts. We got ourselves back into it. Nigel tackled it in the top corner, you know, which was great for him, and you know, and then obviously a penalty, which we're not too sure about, but it got given, and then, you know, Edin got us back in it, and Bella's I thought was awesome tonight. It was the difference between the two sides, and scored the goal that counted.
What explanation did you guys get out there on the pitch from the referee as to why it was a penalty?
You're not going to get an explanation, are you? So he gives it and then tells you to go away. So I never get involved in that. I'm not going to change his mind, but you're never going to get an explanation. But that's football.
What you do get involved in is trying to banter people on penalties and put them off. I've seen you do it for years. Did you try and do that with Stephen today?
Yeah, well, I'm not going to lie, of course I did. You know, I've got to do something against one of the best players in the world. He's got a free shot from 12 yards. And he proved it again, thought he was going to go down the middle. I think he was going to until he's seen that I didn't move. And he's, like I say, he's one of the best players in the world. He should be scoring from 12 yards, and he did, for fair play to him.
Are all your eggs in one basket now? Does this make it even more important that you win the Premier League?
Eggs are in that basket anyway. That's so important. Something that we haven't done as a group of players, definitely, I can say that for sure, and that's what we want to do. You know, we've got the Europa League as well, which will be a nice distraction as well. We'll take a bit of pressure off. We can enjoy that, and you know, we move on. We're top of the league. We're a good team, a very good team, full of very good players, with even more players to come.
Another top performance. Thanks for talking to us, Joe.